Catalina, and I am the Program Development Advisor at GapMedics. We operate essentially shadowing programs internationally for pre-health students, and we'll discuss that in more detail. Work experience is kind of like a British term, actually, and GapMedics itself is actually a UK-based company, so they're enlightening us about what that means exactly. But basically, it's kind of any experience that really allows you to interact with professionals in their respective fields. So it means observing, engaging with, learning from directly, kind of when they're in their working environments. Obviously, that is kind of more geared towards students and young people who are interested in a specific career. It also involves people who are like kind of already. They either already know what they want to be, or maybe they want to explore the career beforehand. And then in the medical field, that usually referred to as clinical work experience or medical work experience. So, can anybody kind of throw out some ideas of what they think would qualify as medical work experience?
Patient interaction.
Absolutely. EMT, absolutely. Any other
Medical
ones?
assistant.
Yep, you guys are really, really specific. I love it. I love it. Think broadly. There's specific words out there that I know you guys are all familiar with.
Just exposure, general exposure to fast-paced environments.
Absolutely, absolutely. I kind of shot down a list of things here. First one, just kind of volunteer projects. Whenever you're kind of volunteering in a hospice, a hospital setting, a clinic, etc. Internships, big ones, obviously, you guys are all familiar with that term. Hospital placements, these are all kind of like overlapping terms, but you might be placed in the hospital, you might be volunteering, you might be interning, what have you. Working as a clinical or medical scribe, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, but basically it involves documenting patient-doctor interactions. So you're kind of there in the exam room, you're chronicling what's going on, recording them, taking notes. Shadowing doctors and doing a medical preceptorship. So medical preceptorships are kind of formal, more formalized doctor shadowing programs. Actually, typically offered to medical students who are already in medical school. So it's actually kind of nice to actually get an experience shadowing a doctor prior to actually doing a medical preceptorship. Is anybody familiar with this term? Externships?
Is that when you go to another country?
It can be involved in another country. It actually is. Sorry?
Is it paid? You get paid when you guys?
Actually, that's interesting. It's actually not typically. That actually is one of the big differentiations between externships and internships. So externships are experience-based programs. They're kind of experiential, empirical programs that provide really intensive, short-term exposure to a profession. So, whereas internships kind of I'll try and explain this nicely. So whereas internships have previously kind of been defined this way to kind of give exposure to people who are interested in specific professions, I'm sure all of you know, internships more and more are kind of ways for employers to hire cheap or free labor to kind of do the administrative work that they don't really want to do. Another word for that work that isn't really kosher for me to say here, but you guys get the idea. So yeah, so externships are still very much focused on the observational nature of kind of working with a professional. Alright, so we're going to look a little bit at statistics from the class that is presumably entering medical school this coming year and applied last year. So, according to the AAMC, there was a 42% acceptance rate in 2013. A little over 48,000 people applied to MD programs to LCME accredited universities last year, and 20,055 got accepted. So that's a little under 42%. The average undergraduate GPA was 3.54, and the combined median MCAT was 29. So, in addition to that, every year the AAMC actually submits this, it's called the Matriculating Student Questionnaire, to admitted students to kind of find out a little bit more about them, a little bit more about their resumes, a little bit more about their applications and what they did prior to applying to medical school. This year, 14,000, so if you guys see, 14,906 students participated in the survey, and record-breaking numbers actually reported they had shadowed physicians or volunteered in a hospital setting, had participated somehow in the healthcare field prior to applying. A little bit, some side statistics. So, still, the vast majority of medical students go to medical school immediately after graduating from undergraduate, getting their bachelor's essentially. So yeah, less than a year between their undergraduate and medical career. 42% of the admitted students who responded to these surveys. A close second, however, a lot of students are beginning to take 1 to 2 years off, 36.4%. So, which obviously is suggesting that more and more students are kind of seeing the importance of taking some time before going to medical school to actually kind of do different things. And we'll actually talk about a little bit what they did do. But yeah, I think it's still telling that increasingly more and more students are seeing the value in taking that time. All right. So, students who did take time off, there's a lot. This isn't going to add up to 100%, just so you know, because multiple answers were permitted. But 35, a little over 35%, worked to improve their finances. They worked in a different career, worked to whatever they did, fundraise, whatever you do, to basically improve their financial situations. About 18% worked on coursework, either post-baccalaureate classwork or different pre-med courses, different undergraduate prerequisites, what have you. 16% worked or volunteered internationally in different capacities, and then a whopping 48% worked and volunteered in different capacities. That either may be internationally, that might be domestic, it might be shadowing, interning, externing, etc. Now we're going to look at a little bit at some of the statistics from all of the students. So these aren't just the ones who took time off. 91.9% of them said that they volunteered in the healthcare field applying to medical school. So that, I mean, obviously, as we discussed, that can be any different capacity. That can be a clinic, hospice, healthcare center, what have you. Of all the respondents, again, 35% said that they had international volunteer experience prior to applying to medical school, which is about a third of them, which is still pretty astonishing that a third actually said that they went abroad to participate. And then 98.1 shadowed a physician or a healthcare professional prior to applying to medical school. So that is obviously the vast majority of the respondents. Which ended up being about 74% of the admitted students said that they had shadowed a physician. So it's obviously commonplace to participate in that way. So I'm just going to kind of read these to you. These are just some of our reputable sources out there, kind of talking about the importance of getting clinical exposure, getting clinical work experience prior to applying. So, according to Princeton Review, the majority of successful applicants have some experience in a hospital, clinic, hospice, or other healthcare setting. As AAMC President and CEO Dr. Daryl G. Kirch explained, more medical schools have evaluated applicants holistically in recent years by looking not only at their academic qualifications but also to their commitment to service. In addition, the Northwestern Academic Advising Center explained that clinical experience is important because medical schools want to be confident that you have a good understanding of the realities of medicine, you are service-minded and people-oriented, and you are committed to the practice of medicine. And finally, according to PerspectiveDoctor.com, for any pre-med, shadowing a doctor should be considered a necessity. Shadowing offers valuable first-hand experience within the field of medicine to help prospective medical students decide if medicine is a career that they really want to pursue. In addition, medical schools frown upon students with no shadowing experience. The best way to demonstrate to schools your commitment to medicine is through countless hours spent within the medical field. So I'm just going to kind of synthesize that for you. Obviously, a couple things were reiterated. Essentially, medical schools really want to be certain that you understand what a profession in medicine entails. You understand kind of what you're committing to, the time that you're committing to, and really how much how dedicated you are to this career. Basically, it's essentially a customer service career. And again, to go and lead to the second point there, that you're compassionate, that you're empathetic, that you're engaged and really committed to the service of helping people. And kind of, I think most important is that, medical schools, they obviously want to look at your qualifications, and they want to look at your MCAT scores and your GPA and make sure that you will be a good student. But more importantly, they want to create a good doctor. They want a good doctor to kind of come out of their school and represent their institution well. So they want to be sure because that's ultimately kind of the end of the path there, is more than becoming a medical student, they want to know that you're going to be a dedicated doctor. It gives you a great background for that. And then finally, the personal value. Really kind of giving yourself an eye-opening experience, giving yourself insight into what it looks like, and enjoying that. So, I'm going to discuss Gap Medics specifically, and we're going to kind of discuss the programs that we offer. So, Gap Medics is a specialist company dedicated to arranging pre-health shadowing programs for aspiring healthcare professionals. And this is one of our students with one of our mentors, I believe, in Tanzania. So, we've been in operation since 2009, and since then we've sent thousands of students to a variety of different countries around the world to shadow healthcare professionals. You're given a hospital placement. You work about 20 to 25 hours a week in the hospital, and then you can kind of supplement that by being on call, which actually eventually called into the hospital. There's different things to witness. There might be a hippo bite, for instance. There might be an emergency amputation from a traffic accident, what have you. And you can opt to do that. And then we also have volunteering opportunities to kind of supplement your placement as well. So, obviously, and then in addition to that, we'll talk about the actual specifics here. In addition to that, your hospital placement will actually entail shadowing nurses and doctors, and physician assistants as well. You'll be learning from seasoned mentors in our global healthcare tutorials, which kind of basically, they help you kind of think critically about the social impact of certain regional diseases, HIV, AIDS, malaria, etc., on the region in which you're located. And then, essentially, when you really get an uncensored look into a career in medicine, you really get to see it for yourself, and really delve into whether or not it's for you. So, for our programs, we have pre-medicine, pre-nursing, pre-dentistry, pre-physician assistant, and pre-midwifery. And they're open to first-year medical and nursing students, undergraduates, and high school students as well. Obviously, if you are a recent undergraduate, if you graduated already, you're taking a gap year, you're obviously invited to apply as well. To talk about a little bit about our departments, these are just a couple of them. I know we have vast majority of others, but I couldn't actually fit them on the screen. So some of our most popular ones are obviously ER and then also surgery. Internal medicine, pediatrics is great, not for the faint of heart though. You're working with kids who may or may not have terminal illnesses. We'll discuss our locations in a second. But then we also have OBGYN. In all of our facilities, there's 60 to 90 births a week. And also, what's interesting is all of our locations, a lot of the pregnant women actually won't come to the hospital to give birth. Routine births are given in the home. So when they do come to the hospital, it's usually because of complications. So you'll see C-sections, you'll see other kinds of obstetric surgery, what have you. Neurology, there's some stroke patients. And then obviously we kind of covers the entire gamut here. Orthopedics, family medicine, you're seeing in the outpatient facility, you might be working with either the elderly or with infants. And obviously in a couple of our locations we have psychiatry as well. So one of our locations is Tanzania. It's actually our flagship program in East Africa. And obviously in addition to being in the hospital, about 20 to 25 hours a week, you will have some time off. You might want to go on a safari, for instance. It's actually hard not to see animals while you're there, even if you don't go on a safari. You're also invited to volunteer at a local orphanage, which a lot of students opt to do, kind of give back a little bit while you're on your placement. And then during our global health tutorials, you will see and actually learn a little bit more about what you saw in the shadowing sessions. So you can ask questions, you'll learn about HIV/AIDS, particularly in Tanzania, malaria, etc. Another location we have is Thailand. Our Thailand location is kind of in the northern part of the country. So you're like really in the mountains, which is apparently is beautiful. And while you're there, you're not shadowing doctors. We actually can go on an elephant trek through the jungle, and with whitewater rafting, which is pretty neat. As you can see, our house over there has a pool as well. And then, in addition, kind of in the global health tutorials in Thailand, you'll be learning about kind of tropical diseases. TB is also a big one over there, and I think yellow fever is also quite common, dengue, etc. So, now we're going to watch a quick video. As I said, UK-based company. We only just opened up our office here in the States. So you'll see a couple people here with funny accents. So, Americans have been participating in the program since 2009. Majority have been British, so they're gonna kind of talk to you for a second.
And we get like the practical side of it as well.
I feel like it's sticking to us so much more than just being in a classroom
And just writing it
Yeah,
down,
exactly.
listening to it, or getting it from textbooks. So it's amazing.
Make notes and make sure
Because they'll test you on it.
they'll test you on it. So revise on the night. Eat last night. Let's go for all the books.
You see so many variety of cases in here. We were in here yesterday, and we saw skin grafts, which was really interesting. A man with an amputated leg, really open wounds, and yeah, they just grafted the skin on his thigh, round his other one.
A doctor is usually a teacher, so you get interested to deliver your knowledge to other people.
Hey, I'm Lottie, I'm 21 and I'm from Kent. I'm currently 2 years through a biological sciences degree in Bristol, so I thought spending 11 weeks here with Gap Medics would be amazing. I'm just finished my first week and I've learnt so much already. It's gonna, it's really preparing me for what's to come. So major surgeries happen on Tuesday and Thursday, but the rest of the week is just ward rounds, so just basically shadowing the doctor, seeing all the different cases and how the patients are progressing, really.
And then when they're doing the operations, the doctors do spend a bit of time explaining what's going on, before they actually go into the operation, they'll give you details about what they're going to do, what you're going to see. And then as they go, they're also describing what you're seeing as well, so they'll go through sort of like the anatomy of the person while they're doing the operation as well.
Like this thing, you have to thank the program, because apart from enjoying in terms of professionalism, Gap Medics has also been part of our income generation. Apart from professionalism, but we are also generating money to help the poor. You see, we are dealing with the poor people here. So I really thank you very much, Gap Medics, for choosing our hospital to be part of the training center. But the most important thing, as human beings, we are also learning different cultures, because we normally try as much as possible to associate with the students who normally come here. So we are learning from them, different cultures, and we also trying to create a kind of friendship. So for us, we are really feeling very happy, and we would like the program to continue.
We see about a good day with 2 natural, 2 C-sections today, and after a while they let you sort of be more involved.
If they're explaining something, make sure you understand it before you go away, and make notes and make sure.
Because they'll test you on it.
They'll test you on it, so revise on the night. Eat last night. Let's go for all the books.
So a lot of the time they ask us as well what we want to do a lecture on. We don't understand it today. So
Yeah.
if there's something that's like a case that's happened, we don't understand it, we'll just talk about that.
Yeah. You'd never be able to get experience like this at home, like never. You'd never be able to get as close and get as involved. You probably wouldn't learn as much either, because the doctors, they go into depth with everything.
Everything they're doing, they explain what they're doing, why they're doing
Yeah.
it.
I've been working with Gap Medics since they started here. We have benefited a lot from them, and I think they have also benefited a lot from us. If you have ever been to developed countries, it's very difficult for students to be closer to the patient as they are closer to patients in our environment. Make the use of this opportunity, because sometimes when we are lacking staff, we usually make them too close, even to assist some of the minor activities. For them, it's a very big benefit, because they are closer to the patient, they learn very close, and because we have a lot of experience being working for too long, and they ask this and this, we explain to them quite well and they understand.
Yeah, it's something I couldn't get back home in Australia, but and at the same time there's also some differences, and you learn that while medicine is medicine, it's different in different sections of the world, and they have different ways of going about it, and you've got to be able to commit yourself to any kind of situation, and I think that's what the amazing thing is, and you can't learn this from textbooks, and I just, I've done work experience back home in Australia, but nothing ever like this, and I've only been here for a week, and it's already been one of the most amazing experiences.
A GapMedix hospital placement, you get obviously things that I can't even really quantify or qualify here in a list, but kind of the big ones are a dynamic shadowing project. You really get to, you're working directly with doctors, and I mean off the record, I can't actually promote that you will be participating in things because I could get fired. But as you heard from students themselves, you're in there. You're really, this is intensive. It's firsthand. You just you're engaging directly with doctors and patients. You get personal interface with doctors and kind of networking opportunities. I mean, this was really this is incredibly valuable. Kind of speaking with doctors directly, both inside the examining room and outside of it, talking about what they do on a daily basis and seeing what they do. But also, as one of the students noted there, I mean, at the end of the day, they're kind of like, yo, did you have any specific questions about things?